Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is VCC Webster and today I'll be talking about chapter 188 of Demon Slayer. Once again, quick reminder, this video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't read the chapter yet, I strongly urge you to do so. If you have already read this chapter or just don't care about the spoilers, let's begin. So, this week's chapter moves away from Jorichi's flashback and starts to focus back on the fight before going into overnight Iguro's origin and his childhood. So the first panel is a pretty interesting one. It starts off with somebody behind a wooden cell. We don't see who it is, but we later find out it was Iguro. Iguro. So after that, we cut back to the main fight, and we see Musan in the middle of his crazy frantic attack, which was where we left off, where his limbs are all extending and slashing like crazy in a frenzy frantic attack, and it's hitting all the Hashiras. We see Himejima, Tomioka, Shinasugawa, Kanroji, and Iguro, and they're all struggling to dodge attacks and to counterattack. It's really hard, like they can't get to him. And the one that's particularly struggling is Kanroji, and she's saying that she can't even see his attacks anymore, and and she's relying on her intuition and luck to dodge the attacks. And to be honest, I don't think that's half bad. I'd rather be lucky than good any day. So then she resolves to risk it all. Risk everything she has, her own life, to try to stop Musan. But she knows that that won't be enough, so the very least she wants to pin down his arms. I'm guessing so that the other Hashiras could get an opening and attack him. Because bear in mind, they know if they decapitate him, it won't kill him. They have to hold him off until sunrise, because that's the only way to eliminate Musan. However, if they cut his head, we know he's gonna struggle to heal and regenerate, which we saw with Jorichi's flashback. So maybe that's a little bit onto foreshadowing what the strategy is gonna be here going forward. So as she's coming to terms with that and she's trying to, do her attack, she's hit by Musan's attack, and it hits her. It hits her on her side, on her side of her torso, and the side of her face, like cutting off her ear. Now immediately, Iguro comes to her aid. Now this attack was really surprising. Like even Himejima said that he didn't know what was up with the attack. He thought that Ganroji had dodged it, but they didn't, and he's like, again, they're just focusing and trying to attack, and we see a panel where they're trying to counterattack, but they have no effect. Musan is just looking at them like, "What are you guys even doing here?" And they just keep fighting. So, so Iguro calls one of the more junior members of the corps. Like the ones that are just standing around because they really can't do much. They'll be they'll die immediately and they'll get in the way of the Hashiras. So he calls one of them and tells him to find Yushiro and to tend to Kanroji's wounds. But you gotta give Kanroji credit. She won't have it. She still wants to fight and she doesn't want to hold anyone back. But Iguro won't let her, despite her protest. That she says that, like, she can't die yet. Like she has to help. But he just ignores it and leaves her with other court members. He tells her, he decides to head back to his fight. He says he's counting on them, tend to her wounds, and then he starts heading back to the fight. And as he's leaving, we see Kanroji go and say, "No, don't do it. Like, no, don't get yourself killed. Like, she doesn't want anybody else to die." And like we started seeing earlier in the manga, how it seems like Kanroji and Iguro have a bit of a thing, and here we see it a lot more overtly. because as he's going back to the fight, we see Iguro contemplate to himself. He's talking about how many lives have he lost because demons exist. And how he wishes that he had met um Ganroji under different circumstances, under normal circumstances. And here's where it gets good, because as he's contemplating that, he says, "No, that is impossible for him." And he starts to contemplate. He starts not to contemplate. He starts reflecting on his past, and he says that because of his tainted bloodline, he is not good enough. He has no right to be with Ganroji. And that's when we start seeing the flashback into his early childhood. And he tells us straight off the bat that he belonged to a bloodline that killed to line their own pockets. And with the stolen money, they dined and lived in luxury. And he was disgusted by it. It was so shameful for him. So the flashback begins. And we see that he says that he's the first son to be born, the first boy to be born in that family in 370 years. And because of that, everybody was fawning over him. They locked him in a wooden cell. And like the way everybody was fawning over him, because his whole family was just women. It made him uncomfortable. He found it disgusting the way they were. Like, if there was something, like, he knew as a kid, like, this is not right. Like, there's something wrong going on here. And they would, like, bring him, like, the most, decadent and expensive foods to feed him. And yeah, like, but even with all that, he lived miserably. He was in like, the ventilation itself was so horrible that it felt suffocating and nauseating to be there. And then at night, he will constantly be hearing like something big crawling around, and then he will feel whatever it was, gazing on him, to a point where he couldn't sleep if he heard those sounds. And once he turned 12, they take him to this big room, like this. It seems almost like a royal court or a place of worship. And in that room, there is a demon with the lower body of a snake. And it was her who had been watching him sleep at night. Apparently, his family had been living off the riches stolen from the people the demon killed. In return for that, they offered their own offsprings as sacrifices to the demon, because apparently the demon has a thing for newborn babies. But since Iguro was born with really weird eyes, like, I don't know if you guys noticed how his eyes are different colors and everything. And because also he was a boy, she let him grow up. So, there's more, so she could enjoy it more when she eats him. And after that encounter, she realized, you know what? I want you to be a little bigger. So she lets him live a little longer. But before she does that, they cut his mouth so it looks more snake-like, like hers. And the blood that spills, she drinks it. Like, it's just disgusting what this guy had to go through. But, once he's back in his cell, like, the only thought that Iguro had was that he had to escape and survive. And with a pin that he stole, he started, scratching and filing away at the cell, one of the ladders, to, go out little by little. And he was alone. The only thing he had was a snake that he named Kaburamaru. I think I'm saying that right. And it was just a stray snake who came in. And eventually, he escaped. Now, a few things that I want to point out. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I always thought there was something off with this guy since they first introduced him. Like, we never got any hint about what happened with it. Like, what's his deal? Because he actually, to me, he looked like a demon. And now we kind of know that he has some sort of connection. And his mouth was always covered, and now we know why. And it was covered with a snake. The thing is, I want to know more about that little snake, Gaburamaru, because I don't know. Like, I think it's too much of a coincidence that his only companion was a snake that snuck in, and the demon that was holding him hostage there was a snake demon. I don't know. I think that's too much of a coincidence. I really hope they go further into it. So, as I was saying, so he escapes, and as he's running away, the demon catches up to him, and she's about to kill him. But right at the very last moment, of course, best boy Rengoku, the flame Hashira, steps in and saves him. At least I think it's Rengoku. It looks like Rengoku. They have the same hairstyle. Might have been his dad, but I'm putting my money on Rengoku. So the only ones that survived from that were, you know, Iguro and one of his cousins. But as you know, Rengoku brings them both together. The cousin just straight out rejects them. She blames him because apparently after he ran away, the demon went berserk and just killed everybody. And she's like saying like she killed everybody because you ran away. You should have just stayed there and let yourself be sacrificed. Now everybody is dead because of you. And like that kind of logic doesn't track. Like, dude, like you guys were sacrificing babies. Like, she has no right to be standing on a high horse. And that's something that I really love about this series is how complex the characters are. Like there's always this big emphasis on demons, how evil they are. But we see that a lot of these demons, they had really terrible like lives and hardships that they went through that pushed them to become the demons that they are. And right here, we see this family who patronize with demons, like they're the real monsters. What they were doing was truly monstrous. And when they get, I don't want to say what they deserve, but when they face their consequences, they can't take responsibilities. They feel like they're above morality. And I think that's something very, very powerful that the the mangaka has really been doing with this series. So yeah, so like Igoro understands that she has no right. Like she's unjustified in what she said, but even though like he's still a kid, he's still a kid, and those words like hurt her deeply. And he admits that he had considered what might happen to his relatives if he ran away. And honestly, he said he just wanted to live. He wanted to live, and to be honest, he had every right to do so because what his family was doing was wrong. But still, he still felt, that guilt and that shame because even though he didn't particularly take part in what his family was doing, it's still his family, it's still their blood that's running through his veins. So he feels like he's not good enough. He doesn't belong anywhere. Like, how could he live? How could he live a normal life after everything his family has done? He's carrying their burden. And that's what drove him to join the Demon Slayers, which is, to focus all that anger, all that burden into taking down the demons. And he said that by by doing that, he's somehow atoning for the sins of his family. So the chapter ends on that note, like he's reflecting that as he's doing all this, as he's helping those people, putting his life on the line to save them, he feels like each time he's becoming a little bit of a better person, a slightly better person. But that burden that his family had, like that, he feels them still holding him back. Like he can never completely absolve himself from the sins of his family. And he said he contemplates that he wants to die defeating Musan, and that he hopes that he is reborn in a world without demons and that knows peace. And in that world, he wants to come across Ganroji again and tell her how he feels about her. That right there, like, I don't know, like, I really like that ending because I don't know, me, I'm a bit of a hopeless romantic, but I don't know, I just think it's so beautiful and it's so tragic how Kanroji wants somebody to accept her for who she is because she's been rejected because of her monstrous strength her whole life. And here she has Hirogu, who does like her for who she is. But now him himself, because of his family history, he doesn't feel worthy enough for her. He feels that he needs to die and be reborn as a human who doesn't carry his family's blood to be even able to tell Ganroji how he feels about her. Like, it's just so tragic, you know? You know, like star-crossed lovers never, whose paths always cross but never intertwine. I don't know, I feel like this, I really did like this chapter. They finally gave us a bit of information on Hirogu, and we did had none. But I'm very happy with what they showed us. Now, before I sign off, I want to say that something that I wanted to mention in my last video, but I completely forgot, was that, like, I love this series as it is, but I'm kind of sad a bit also because it seems like right now this arc, it seems that it's gonna really be the final arc, and everything that's happening, all these expositions that they're giving us, it feels like it's just to make us happy because, like, it just has a sense of finality, and I really hope that this series goes on a lot longer. But something tells me that it's not. You know, I don't think it's gonna pass the 250 mark in chapters. I really hope that it does. Again, I was kind of feeling the same way about Black Clover back when they had when they were reaching the end of the devil fight arc. But yeah, like, this feels like it has a sense of finality in the way it was written. Like, it's pretty self-contained. So if it ends, you know, within a year, like, I could see that happening. I would be sad, but I would understand it. You know, just something I wanted to, you know, my thoughts on that. I really hope that this series goes on for years and years to come, but if it doesn't, you know, I will understand, and I'm still happy that they gave us what they did. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this chapter. That's all I have to say. So, what do you guys think about this chapter? Did you like it or not? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Once again, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like these, hit the subscribe and notification buttons so you don't miss any of them. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.